Hello, boys and girls, and welcome back to Creation Laboratory, where science and the Bible work together to illustrate truths of our marvelous Creator. I am joined today by Leah, who will be assisting me in my experiment. Say hello, Leah.
Hi.
Well, today we're going to be discussing the importance of the armor of God. But before we get to that, we need to gather materials for our experiment. Leah, let the children at home know what they'll need if they want to do the experiment at home.
We have 2 oranges and a tall container of water.
Very, very good. And if you're really hungry, you can grab 3 oranges. Well, thank you, Leah. For our purposes here, we're going to use 2 containers, but 1 will be sufficient for you children at home. Leah, in order to be ready for our experiment, I'll need you to peel one of the oranges, but leave the second one alone. You can do that while I explain the armor of God. As I'm sure you have already deduced, the armor of God is not a literal set of armor that we must wear, like a soldier or a knight, if you will. No, Paul the Apostle uses the image of Roman armor to illustrate the importance of certain aspects of our spiritual walk with God. Like armor for a soldier in Paul's time, these spiritual attributes are essential for our success against the enemies of God. You will find this picture in chapter 6 of Paul's letter to the Ephesians. He says in verses 10 and 11, "Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord, and in the power of his might put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil." The word wiles basically means tricks. You see, the devil hates God and anyone who chooses to follow God. So he'll use whatever methods he can to trick us into turning away from him. But our spiritual armor protects us, so we're not deceived. Our experiment will help to illustrate this. Leah, how is that orange coming along?
Good.
Has it been fully peeled?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, now comes the point of our experiment where we must come up with a hypothesis. In a moment, we are going to place each of the oranges into the container filled with water. Leah, what do you think will happen to the orange that you peeled?
I think all these little stuff will come off.
Really? And what about the orange you didn't peel?
Stay the same.
Do you think it'll sink? Do you think it'll float?
Sink.
Interesting. Well, and what about you at home, children? Yes, well, Leah, let's test our hypothesis, starting with the peeled orange. Leah, you may gently set the peeled orange into the water. Oh, it sank. Interesting, very, very interesting. The peeled orange sank to the bottom of our container. It was not able to stay afloat. Why don't we try the second orange with the peel still on? Well, would you look at that? You would think that the extra weight would cause this orange to sink as well. But in fact, because the peel is less dense, there's air trapped within. And that trapped air helps to hold the orange atop of the water. This illustrates what Paul speaks about in Ephesians. He continues in chapter 6, verse 13, "Therefore take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand." The peeled orange in our experiment represents us when we are not wearing our spiritual armor. When the devil attacks, we are unable to withstand him. But when we are wearing our spiritual armor, we are able to stand against the devil, just like this orange is able to stay afloat with its peel on. So, what is the armor of God? And what are these spiritual attributes that are so important in our lives? Let's look at Ephesians 6 again and find out. Paul says, "Stand therefore, having girded your waist with truth, having put on the breastplate of righteousness, and having shod your feet with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, with which you will be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked one, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God." When you suit up in the armor of God, you have the power to defeat the enemy. You will be able to speak the truth, stand firm in the faith, and spread the good news of Jesus Christ. The enemy will come after you, but when you operate in the authority that God has given you, you will overcome the enemy, because he who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. Remember, it is God who equips us, but we, as good soldiers, must maintain and put on our armor. To better understand each piece of armor mentioned, I would encourage you to sit down and read Ephesians 6, 10 through 18 with your family and discuss them in greater detail. Well, Leah, how did we fare in our hypothesis? Did the oranges do what we expected?
No.
No, they didn't. So what's our conclusion? As followers of Jesus, we must always be prepared for the devil's attacks. He will try to deceive us and cause us to turn away from God. But with the spiritual armor God gives us, we have the ability to withstand the attack and grow stronger in our walk with God. Well, Leah, thank you for assisting me today. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. And I would love to see how your experiments go at home. Be sure to send us your videos of you and a parent performing any of our experiments on Instagram, tagged with CCGS Kids. And we'll see you again next time. Goodbye! Wow.